Today we're going to learn what is a real estate option contract and when to use it. Many people just starting out in the creative real estate industry don't know what an option contract is. If that's you, stick around because I'm going to show you what the option contract is and when are the best times to use them. I think we should start out by just listening to the definition of what an option contract is. So right here it says, a promise which meets the requirement for the formation of a contract and limits the promisor's power to revoke the offer. Now that's a formal definition. You know, I'm looking at this going, sounds good, not exactly sure what it means. Another way of saying it is, an option contract is a type of contract that protects an offeree from the offeror's ability to revoke their offer. Again, sounds good, and I understand the words, but let's put it into some real finite examples. Now, this is the unabridged Mitch Stephen definition of what an option contract is. An option contract is a bunch of mumbo-jumbo words on a piece of paper that lets you control a property without owning it for a minuscule amount of money till you figure out how to make some profit on it. That's the Mitch Stephen definition. I like to use option contracts when there are very specific unknowns that I need to conquer, but I still need to take this seller off the market. So I'm going to use the option contract to take the seller off the market and buy myself some time to exercise my option to buy within my time period while I'm trying to solve these variables. Here's an example. Let's say there's $1 million house and you can get it under contract for $500,000. That's a pretty good deal, right? The problem is you don't have $500,000. That's kind of a big problem, isn't it? Well, it's a variable that we don't know the answer to. Are you going to be able to find $500,000 or not? So let's write up an option agreement where you have the right to buy that house for $500,000, but you also have the right to do your due diligence and a feasibility study for 30 days. Now we're calling this 30 days a feasibility time, and that's where you get to go inspect the house, check it out, really get strong on your estimates, figure out what kind of repairs it really needs. You know, it's not unusual for buyers of these kinds of houses, more expensive houses, to actually want some time with the house before they commit. Well, we're asking for that time, but really what we need the time for is we need to find $500,000. So you write up the $1 million house for $500,000. You have 30-day feasibility time, and you put up $10,000 as option fee. But the option fee doesn't go hard until the end of the 30 days. That means if you back out of the contract and don't exercise your option and give them notice that you're not going to exercise your option within that 30-day feasibility time, all of your option fee money is refundable, 100%. So we're taking a free throw at this house for 30 days. The question is, can you find $500,000 somewhere to buy it? This is what I love about real estate. I didn't have any money. And a matter of fact, that $10,000 I'm going to put up, I'm going to get that off a credit card. 0% interest introductory offer. I'm not going to pay anything for this money. I'm just going to get it from a credit card at cash advance. I'm going to put it up. Then I'm going to walk around town with this megaphone and this sign saying, hey, I've got $1 million house under contract for $500,000. Who wants to split this $500,000 potential profit with me? And someone's going to raise their hand and say, I do. I want $250,000 of that $500,000 profit. I'm saying, great. Bring the $500,000 and we have a deal. And that's how it's going to work. If I don't find this person on about day 28 or day 29, I'm going to send a certified letter, email, whatever highly trackable message to my buyer saying, I'm going to not exercise my option. Here's my official notice. And please return my $10,000. And that's usually in the title company's department. You don't send the $10,000 to the seller. You send the $10,000 to a title company. You tell the title company you're not going to exercise your option. You're within the time limits, and the title company will refund your $10,000. So that's one example of how to use an option contract. And you probably will have to give up $100 or $200 or $300 of that $10,000 as a non-refundable option fee, because you need to pay something for that right to rescind. But don't trip over the pennies in this conversation. We were taking a run at a $500,000 profit on $1 million house with literally hardly any money out of our pocket and risking $200, $300, $400. This is how people get launched in the creative real estate investing industry. This is exactly how they get launched. They're using option contracts to see if they can make a deal work. Now that's an example of how to use an option contract as an investor. Now before I show you how to use an option contract for personal reasons, do me a favor. Reach over there and mash on that like button and mash on that share button and let your friends and your neighbors and everybody you know that this YouTube channel is worth listening to. We appreciate it a lot because we're going to be doing a lot more content where this came from. So in this next example, it's more personal. You're out there doing your business, whatever that is, and you find this house that you want to buy as your homestead. The problem is, the only way you can ever get this house is if you sell your house you're living in now. So you would write an option contract to buy this house of your dreams. And it would be contingent upon you being able to sell the house you live in now. And you would write an option contract to solve this unknown. The unknown is, how fast can you sell your current home? Again, I like to use option contracts when they're variables or unknowns. And I use these option contracts to give me time to solve the variable or the unknown. And so you'd write an option contract on this dream home. You'd get a 30-day option or a 60-day option or a 6-month option, whatever you can negotiate with the seller. And then you'll have time to sell your property. Your option contract would say specifically, this contract to buy home A is subject to me being able to sell my personal home B within X amount of time. And that's how you would do it. For those of you who might be interested in how I went from, let's say, a less than stellar bank account to learning how to flip 100 houses a year for over 2 decades, you might want to read my book, My Life in 1,000 Houses, Failing Forward to Financial Freedom. And right here today, I'm going to give you the first 100 pages of that book for absolutely free, digitally downloaded to you, if you'll simply go to 1000houses.com/free-stuff and scroll up and down the page there until you see, first 100 pages free. And that'll get it to you. Thanks for tuning in.